Hello everybody, welcome to Screenwriting with Final Draft, the Masterclass. Here we are, week 4. It's been a great journey. We've been able to go through a lot of things, a lot of concepts, go through the software, and hopefully get a better understanding of how the software works, a little bit more about screenwriting, and to take things from there. So I want to mention too that we have our website, tbmcs.ca. So the Blue Mountains Creatorspace.ca, tbmcs.ca. If you visit the website, you can check out our YouTube channel. We have tons of videos from past workshops in screenwriting as well. And you can how to apply some of this to, if you want to do audio podcasting, short film production, all of these types of workshops, they're all there. So we really want to encourage you to visit this website, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. You'll see a bunch of videos from there as well. Now, if you're joining us for week 4 and you haven't seen the prior weeks, not to worry. You can access everything right from this link and go back through the past 3 weeks through this Eventbrite link. So really happy to be able to do that. I just want to start off. I want to thank all our partners in this project. So we have the Canada Council for the Arts. Then we also have all of our library partners. So we have the Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Wasaga Beach Public Library. Now, on that library note, we do have all of our digital arts computers, our 27-inch iMac digital arts computers are loaded with Final Draft so that you can go there and use Final Draft 11 or 12. And also today we'll be demoing Final Draft Mobile, which is the iOS, so you can use that on your Apple iPhone or an iPad as well. So our iPads, there's some iPads we have available too through our library partners, and they're loaded with Final Draft as well. So you can take one of those out. So we have lots of ways for you to access Final Draft, the software. You can also look to purchase a copy for yourself. And last but not least, you can really look at this, the formatting, and you can also just do it in a word processing document as well. But I really encourage you, if you do have a mobile device, an iPhone or an iPad, to check out the Final Draft Mobile, and you can follow along with all the things we've been doing. So that's what we're going to look at today, and then some of the exporting, the finalization of the script, and so on. And then we'll have some time for some Q&A, but also like to just put up my email address. You can send me scripts you've been working on, and we can go from there. So today we'll look at Final Draft Mobile for iOS. So it's available through the App Store, through the Apple iTunes App Store. We're going to look at demo of screenwriting in the Final Draft Mobile for iOS. Then we're going to look at exporting files and lists. So that will be directly within the Final Draft Mobile, but also on going back to Final Draft 12 on our desktop. And then a little bit on working in collaboration mode, how that works. Just give an overview on that. And then we'll wrap things up. So let's start up with the iPad. So I'm just going to get it a little bit comfortable here so I can have it on a stand. So here's the Final Draft. So if just going right back to, here's my desktop, and then under the App Store you would be able to search and find Final Draft. So this is how you'd find it. You go to the App Store, go to Final Draft, and you'll find it here, Final Draft Mobile. I believe it's $25 or $20 to purchase, and that's it. You would just authorize the purchase it, and then it's going to load, and then it's going to be on your desktop here on the actual iPad. So then here it is, Final Draft, and then here's how it will work. So you have 5 items. It says 1.9 terabytes available on iCloud. So you can save everything directly on your iCloud drive, and that's the nice thing. So you can go from device to device. So if you're working on your iPad, you can then open the same script, put it into Final Draft, let's say at one of the digital arts computer stations at a library, work on it there, send it back to yourself and put it in your iCloud. You can work back on this. So this is totally interchangeable between the software, the desktop, and the mobile version. And that's the really cool thing. So how exactly does this work? So I'm going to go to create a document. And then it says here, there's a couple different things. So screenplay, single cam, teleplay, stage play, multicam, sitcom. So it has a few options. So I'm just going to say, okay, let's do a new screenplay. It's going to ask me the name. So I'm going to say Summer Fun Draft 1, accept. Okay, and then here's my script. And then you can just start typing. I'm going to just go over here and uh, there's different setups and so on. So let's go right into this. And oops, go here. Let's just go. Okay, so app settings. Just want to. So here it is. Check spelling. Just a few things here that you can set up. Just about. So this is version 6.03. It'll tell you the version. So just so everybody knows what I'm working with. That's what I'm doing, and so let's go back to Summer Fun Draft 1. So you can see it's a .fdx, so that's the file. So I'm going to say, okay, exterior forest So I'm going to use the tab button is right here, day, return, and then we can continue from there. So a boy, James. So I'm going to do a little demo just on how we're typing. Where's green shorts and very tall red striped knee high socks. So I'm just describing James, what he looks like, and kind of, going from there. So the visual idea. So our description concepts here. So here, now I can say, okay, I'm going to go to the character. Oops, I'm going to go tab, character. I'm going to say James. Oops. I hope to find some bees today. He looks down at his small terrier dog who trots beside him, wagging his tail. Right, so we keep going from there. So you can see we have the action, we have characters, we have parentheses. So here's characters, parenthesis, dialogue, and continuation scenes. So the tabs are fantastic. So they just take you from on the top there, exactly what we're doing. And then you just use the tab button here as well that says tab directly. You just type and you go. And that's the beauty of it. So exterior forest, you can see it has the list right away. So I'm going to say forest, river, side, day. And you see it has all these pop-ups as you go. So the tab is just going from, is it interior, exterior, name of the location, what time of day is it, day, night, etc. And it goes from there, right? So exterior, forest, riverside, day. James walks up to a purple flower. Chipmunk jumps away as the dog barks at it. Right, so we're having some action. So again, all the action stuff that's happening is just like that. So if I hit return, I go to another line, hit tab, it's going to go to the characters. And you can see right away it already has James. and it's creating a catalog of characters' names as we go. Look, Spark. So that's when we identify the dog's name, because James is saying the dog's name. Look, Spark. I think I see a bumblebee hovering over the flower. He points. So this is, I think, just want to illustrate, kind of putting all of our concepts together, illustrating how we always want to show and not tell. So I'm always trying to write with the visuals. Like, what is he doing? He's pointing at stuff, he's doing stuff. And that's, I think, really important, is that I'm not telling you as a reader what to see, think, and all that. I'm describing things to visualize it, and through the visuals of the script, the story's coming together. So, I'm saying he points at the purple flower, and that's visually telling you he's pointing at the purple flower. So that's getting you to also look at the purple flower as the audience. So you can imagine cinematically, we're trying to use those visuals to figure out how that comes together. So he points at the purple flower. A large bumblebee backs out of the petal and turns directly towards James. Petulia. I'm going to create another character. James falls backwards as Spark barks. The bee flies away narrowly missing Spark's open jaws. Right, so we're getting some action, we're just describing what's happening and so on. Okay, so now we have another character, so we've introduced that. So, and now watch, as I write P, it's going to go right to that character listing, Petulia. So now we have, James, Petulia, and it's all there. It's cataloging everything. So all our locations, all our character names, and this is the beauty of Final Draft, that it catalogs everything, so we don't have to keep typing everything in. We just find it, and it says, hey. It's also, there's predictive text, so iPads are working with that, so it's very convenient. So this you could be, again, doing on your phone. You could be, driving as in the passenger side, not driving as the driver, but you could be, on a trip somewhere. You can be anywhere, at a coffee shop. You could be at the beach. You could be, sitting having a picnic somewhere. You could be in your backyard, anywhere. And this mobile version just works that way. So you can see the benefits. You don't have to have a big desktop. Definitely a laptop will make things easier, but then the iPad makes it totally freeing to just be writing your script wherever you happen to be, and not worrying about that whole desktop laptop setup, and going with that materials. Okay. Mr. Bumblebee doesn't like it when you get too close. and then James. See, we type in J and we get James right away. Return, I get to the dialogue, right? So there's the whole like, going with the return keys and everything. So we're going, the action tab takes us into dialogue, right? So, and then another tab takes us into the character's name that's centered. Another tab takes us into the dialogue. And then we can go with the in-betweens with our quick keys as well. So we got the scene heading, which is that clapperboard. We have the action, which is like kind of an action, like an explosion. The character, there's a head, there's a parenthesis. So if I want to describe how someone's talking, so annoyed, loudly, excited, that kind of stuff. Then there's the dialogue bubble, so that's the dialogue. And then there's that end note if it's like cut to, which happens. So we'll let's keep demoing that, how that will work. So James, I'm going to put in a bracket here. Confused. Let's do that. Oops. Let's get our comma thing. I wasn't. I'm actually a bit of a B expert. Tab P, so again, Petulia. I'm going to say, oops. Undo, okay. So undo is just on the top here, undo, redo. Return. Laughing. What kind of expert puts their face up to a busy bee? Right? Spark barks at Petulia. And so on and so forth. So then we keep writing from there. So you can see we got the characters. So now I can go, let's just change this. So I can say cut to black. I want to end that scene. Right? And we can continue from there. So you can see there's keep going, and then there's page 1 of 1. And that's it. So that's how we're writing our whole script. So it's really that straightforward. So we have all our quick commands, we have all our our characters, how do they speak, what is their dialogue, and then we go from there. And that's the whole the nuances of that. So let's say we want to then export this. So first I'll go to the tools here. So I can create a title page. So I'm going to say, say, just like we had in the other software. So I'm going to say, summer fun draft 1 written by, and it gives you all the like cues what you need to type in here. So just put your name, it's not based on anything, it's just my original script, and that's it. Then you can put address, phone number if you want to. Something that might be of interest, you can always put, if you want to put like a copyright notice, you can say copyright Tom Strnad 2021. And do these little brackets. There you go. Copyright C Tom Strnad 2021. So and I can say done. Okay, so now I have a title page. You can go to different revision modes, character highlightings, locked pages, and we go from there. So what does it mean? I think while we're here, we can go to locked pages. So what I can say is let's lock the pages. Pages are now locked. So this is what you do once you're looking to go to production. You lock the pages, because then what happens is anytime I type here, the wind blows through the flower. Notice what happens there on the right, a little star. And that ends up showing, that means there's a revision. That's the beautiful thing of revision mode. It keeps tracking revisions and it locks the pages. So page 1 stays as page 1. If I happen to keep typing and make this page longer, it's going to create a page 1A. And that's the beauty of the revision mode, that you can then just technically show your revision numbers, just those pages. Let's go to scene numbers. So I'm going to say scene heading. I'm going to say let's number them. Look what this has done now too. So what it's done now is scene 1, exterior forest, scene 2, exterior forest, riverside. So it marks all these things up. So it marks, I've locked it, so I have revisions and I have my scene numbers. So now when you're filming and preparing things, by inserting those scene numbers, you know that you're filming scene 1 and scene 2. So these are the final things. Once you've finished writing your script and you're like the final draft, like you lock the pages, because that's your locked script. Then what we get into is that whole kind of production idea, where we might be doing some production, preparation, pre-production. You want to lock it, but at the time when it's locked, you might be doing some production revisions, so maybe you decide to take some lines out that you don't want to film, or you decide to change a scene. It was set in a old schoolhouse, and instead maybe it's going to become a church. So that's an old church. So you're going to revise the scene heading. Instead of interior old schoolhouse, it'll become interior old church. And that becomes a revision, and it's noted, and then you know that. It doesn't necessarily greatly affect the script, it's just the idea is there, but you might need to change some things, so that if they're in a schoolhouse, there's a desk, maybe there's now, different chairs or tables or something else that has to do with the church, or there's candles versus chalk, right? So these kinds of little nuances would be part of the revision. Then the scene numbers allow you to get into planning when you're going to film. Scene 1, we're filming day 1. Scene 2, we're filming day 4, and so on and so forth. So those scene numbers are really crucial, because then that comes back to cataloging how you film it in camera and cataloging it, so that when you write scene 1, when you're filming, you can go back to the script that's scene 1. When you write scene 20, you're filming scene 20, you know that you're filming scene 20 in the script, and so on and so forth. And we talked about that right from the beginning, that there can be over 100 scenes within a feature-length script. So that's really important to remember. So the mobile gives us all these same ideas, and I'm going to show us how we do that in the normal desktop version as well. And that's it. So then, if I've done my scene, I've locked it, I'm doing revisions, and you can keep doing this. Then we can go, we can go back. We can save these scripts as well. So. I can figure out where my backups are. So you can see here's all the backups, and it keeps backing up as you write, which is really beautiful. So and this is all virtual, so it's going to be on the iCloud as well. It's going to load it there, iCloud drive, and then it goes right here to final draft. So I have all my final draft scripts right here, and so you can choose where this goes as well. So you can change it. So it can go locations. You can put it on your iPad. And there can be final draft directly on your iPad as well. And that's local. So when you're choosing where to save it, you can save it on your iCloud, or you can save it directly on your iPad. The beauty of if you save it on your iCloud is that way it can easily translate to any drive, to any other device, right? So within anywhere that you're signed up. Okay, so that's a little bit on the where do we save it thing. Uh, I'm just going back and forth here. There we go. Okay, so again, there's our script. Okay, so now if we want to export it, I can email the script. I can do a PDF. So let's do this. Let's email the script, final draft, or I can do .fdx, so then someone who's using final draft, they can get it that way, or I can do a PDF. So we'd either choose one of those. I can email reports. So this is a cool thing. So emailing reports, you can email a location report, and this is the location report. So it's setting up an email. So this is what it's gonna, this is the report. It says, hey, there's a forest day, there's a forest riverside. And there's the script as well. And it says it's on page 1 and it occurs once. So if I'm in the forest, let's say 12 times, and it occurs in multiple pages within the script, it's gonna list all of that as well. So I'm gonna just cancel that, delete draft. And here's another thing, email reports. So character report. So I can say, here's the character report. It says James speaks 3 times, 50%, for a total of 35 words. James appears as a non-speaking character 0 times. So this means he's always speaking. So this helps with production planning. So you can see how vital all of these kinds of reports are with production planning and making it all work. So I'm just going to cancel that as well. Let's look at another report. Statistic report. Here's like all the different statistics, dialogue, 34% dialogue, action. So it starts to give you a lot of information. So all these reports and statistics, so scenes, characters, how much do they speak, it's really vital in the planning process. So you can understand, okay, this is a lead character, they speak all the time, right? It's not a, versus there could just be a character that's maybe just walks by. So it's a supporting actor or character that doesn't have to actually maybe say any dialogue, right? So we want to know all these types of things as we're going through this, and so on. And then you can just do a PDF. So I can just save a PDF, and it can go right on the cloud drive. I can go final draft, final draft. Untitled folder. I'm going to call these PDF. PDF, done. That's it. Okay, so and then we can just keep exporting, and then you can also print. So you can set up to a printer and go in that way. So that's basically what we're doing in the mobile version, and that's really fantastic. So now let's switch over here. We're going to just go to back to the desktop version that we were using earlier, and from the previous session. So I'm just going to go back here. Let's open up Final Draft 12. So just opening up right here on my desktop computer, Final Draft 12. Just loading up, and we're going to look at doing the same things here. So just locking, adding scene numbers, and making it all work. And I think that way, you can get the same idea. You can do the same thing on the desktop and the same thing on the mobile version. So here we go. So I'm going to go Ghost in the Mansion we were writing earlier. So we have kind of all our things here. So now, same idea. So we can say, hey, you want to track changes. So you can turn on tracking if we're doing any kind of changes. Across the table from Ghost sits down on a chair. You can see then it's highlighting those changes. Okay, so now let's go to production. So I can go lock pages. Pages are now locked. Let's try revision mode. The ghost breathes heavily. So just like we did in the mobile one, you can see that we get these arrows these asterisk stars, and that's showing that there's revisions. And they show up also as a color coding, which is fantastic. So that's how we lock the pages, go to revision mode, and then all those revisions are showing up. So again, why do we lock pages? You lock the script, essentially you lock the pages, and then you start doing revisions for production. And that's why you're doing the revisions. Or if you start collaborating with someone and you want to lock your draft, and then they're adding some of the finesse or little extra gravy to your script, so you can go to that revision mode. The next thing we can do is we can do the scene numbers under production. So I'm going to say okay, and you can see it did the same thing. We got scene 1, interior mansion, scene 2, exterior mansion, and it just numbers everything. Now what happens if we added another scene? So let's have a look at that. Exterior school day. You can see it's not numbered, right? That's not numbered anymore. So then what I'm going to do is go back to production. I'm going to go scene numbers. I'm going to say number, renumber, and watch this. It goes 1A and 2. And why does it do 1A? It does 1A because we're locked and we're adding scenes. So rather than renumbering everything, let's say you've already scheduled everything and you've written a filming schedule. You're filming scene 1, day 1. You're filming scene 2, day 4. You want 1A to show up because that's now a revision scene, 1A, and so on. Now, if we got out of the revision mode and we did the same thing, so I'm going to turn off revision mode so you can see now it's cleared, right? And then we're going to go production, scene numbers. I'm going to number, renumber. Oops. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, let's get that here. Edit scene number. So this we're going to say, let's go to 2. And unlock all pages. Yes, we're going back to just where we were before. Scene numbers. And oh, we're kind of stuck on this. So usually we would have the number from current scene. There we go. Don't keep the existing numbers. That's what you need to do right there. So right here, keep existing numbers. So we want to turn that off. And oops, I'm going to start from up here. We'll get this right. Scene numbers. Number from current scene. Yes, 1, 2, 3, right? So that's how that would be. So if it's not locked, you can see how easy it's going to number all the scenes, and that's what we want to be able to do. Number all our scenes. And now you see, then we have tools. So same idea, we can do reports. So we can do that same idea. We can do the scene report. And we go here, and here's our scene report. So you can see it has the mansion, school, and then longest scene, and the lengths of the pages. So this is really interesting. So pages are broken down into 1/8 when you're doing the scheduling. So a full page is a full page, half a page is 4/8, and then you have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and it breaks it down based on that. So you can see exactly here it's saying it's 1 2/8 page for exterior mansion. School's 1 1/8, or sorry, it's 2/8 of a page. It's on page number 1, and so on. So that would be the whole reporting. Okay, so once the report's done, I can say save and ghost in a mansion scene report. Great. And we'll go back to our script. Okay, so that's how we can access all of the reports right from there. Same with like a character report, cast report, and so on. And then under Windows, we can just keep going from one to the other. It's going to keep everything open. We just go under Window. We can go to any of these windows, back to our script, back to those reports, and keep moving along from there. Now, how does the I think we can put headers and footers. We can put a watermark, title page we talked about last time, and all our notes and all that. So now if one more important thing here. So if we go to collaboration, this is how we do collaboration. So I go, hey, host. I'm the host. And then select the script to host. I say, okay. And now, here's my collaboration session. And then I share the session ID. So you can Command C, and you send it to someone, and they can then they can go from there. Right? And then once you're done, so the collaboration thing is basically it's real time. Someone could be, they're watching this script and we're typing together. I can type something, they're watching me type it, they type something. I'm like, wow, that's a great piece of dialogue you just added, and you collaborate like that. I'm the host and other people then join. So by sending that session ID, that's right here, you basically just send the session ID and everyone else will be joining, but you remain the host. So that means I can control it and I can say end, and you're ending the collaboration session. And that's how easy it is to do the collaboration. It's super, super easy. And then after that, we can just go same thing. We can save as PDF. We can export this as a script. We can export the beat board. Let's do that. Let's do the beat board. And let's see where we put our, try to remember where we put, where we were saving things to. Let's just have a look at that. Export, beat board. Let's just look where all these things have been going. Okay, that's right in there. I'm gonna cancel that. Let's just have a look at what that looks like. Final draft masterclass, final draft masterclass scripts. So here's the beat board as a PDF. Isn't that great? So it gives you the whole beat board visually as a PDF. And then we can also, export the script. And then here you have options. Do you want a .fdx document, the final draft document? You can do plain text. You can do a scheduling export. You can do text, Avid script based, and so on. So you can do all these kinds of formats. You cancel that, and also we can export it as, save as PDF. So we can just create a PDF of the whole script, include the title page. And this is what we would be doing with, if you want to send the script to someone. So it goes to the mansion, and then you have your whole script. And that's how we do all the PDFs and all that fun stuff. So that's kind of the whole finishing side of it, which is a really fun part, because you have the whole script, you have all these reports, and I hope that was a great kind of overview of how we can go from the final draft, from the mobile version, we can go on the desktop version, and everything works the same way. So remember, once you're finished writing, you lock your pages, you go to revision mode, you track all your revisions, you want to add the scene numbers, you can export reports, you can collaborate with other people, and then you can save it as a FDX, a final draft document. You can also save it as a PDF. You can export your beat board as a PDF so that you have this visual diagram. Amazing, amazing tools. So that's how you can get started. So I think, definitely check out the Final Draft mobile version. It's very affordable. If you have a iPhone or iPad, just load it on and you can start writing. Otherwise, feel free to check out the desktop versions. They're on all our digital arts computers at the library partners. So really encourage everyone to do that and check that out. It'll be really great. I'm just going to put, we have our, a little bit of information just on the, if you want to email me, I'll put my email address up here. So you can, send me an email if you have the scripts, if you have tech questions about the software or the computers or anything like that. You can just, send me an email. It's tom@tbmcs.ca. So feel free to, share a script you're working on, ideas, or if you want to talk more about the software and how it works, or exporting, any bit, questions about the locking, the scene numbers. But really, that's the process. Write the script, you scene number it, you can lock it for revisions, and then you can get those reports out. And that helps you with all the production planning and figuring out, okay, I wrote a 5-page script, there's 10 scenes, I want to film scenes 1 and 2 the first day, I want to film 3, 4, 5, 8 the next day, and 6, 7, 10 on day 3. And then you know what you're doing, and then it tells you what characters and what actors you need. Keep it simple as you're starting, try to work with, 1, 2 characters, a short 3-act script. Really encourage that. Get yourself going, get familiar with the tools, and then they just become an extension for you to be creative. So don't get overwhelmed or bogged down by the tools. They should be an extension to allow you to get those creative ideas out there and make it work and happen. Just want to thank all our partners in making this happen. Canada Council for the Arts, our library partners, Blue Mountains Public Library, Collingwood Public Library, Mississauga Beach Public Library. Be sure to check out the digital arts computers, the 27-inch iMacs, where you can access Final Draft. And please stay tuned. We'll be having more workshops on this. We're going to start to have some in-person screenwriting workshops as well in the coming weeks and months as well. So thanks again for joining me. It's been a real pleasure to go over all of these tools with Final Draft, and I will see you guys soon. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.